It was on that day, the moment my mother stepped out of the house, my stepfather slipped away without a word. I found myself overlooking him, lost in my own thoughts. I believed he would leave for work just as he did each morning after breakfast. As I began to clean the kitchen, I found myself washing the last of the dishes, each one a small step towards reclaiming a sense of order. The silence enveloped the space, a stillness that echoed the weight of unspoken stories. The gentle flow of water from the tap mingles with the soft chime of dishes, creating a moment of quiet reflection amidst the chaos of life. In the depths of my concentration, I remained blissfully unaware of the presence creeping up behind me. In an instant, a sudden touch at my side startled me, leaving me frozen in place. The sudden feeling coursed through me, leaving me rigid and unyielding. In that moment, my breath ceased to flow. It was my stepfather who cast a long shadow over my childhood. His presence was uncomfortably close, and it sent a wave of unease through me. I struggled against the grip, yet it remained unyielding, leaving me no opportunity to escape. In that moment, a wave of fear washed over me, accompanied by a torrent of questions that seemed to echo in the silence. The family kitchen transformed into a space that felt stifling, each breath becoming a struggle against the weight of the atmosphere. And from that moment forward, the unsettling journey of my life unfolded. Greetings to all. My name is Emily. At 24 years old, my life has been shaped by the presence of my mother, who has been my constant since childhood, following the loss of my father at a tender age. My mother, Susan, embodies strength and resilience in every aspect of her life. She gave up so much to ensure my upbringing. My childhood was marked by the warmth and affection of my mother, even though our circumstances were often lacking. My mother instilled in me the importance of independence and resilience, guiding me to confront challenges with unwavering strength. I often believed that our connection was all we truly required. At the age of 20, my life took a turn that I could never have anticipated. It was a moment that lingered in my mind, the first time my mother shared with me that she had encountered someone who held a special place in her heart, someone with whom she wished to deepen their connection. It caught me off guard, for my mother had seemed so distant from the idea of love since my father's passing. Yet there was something about her that felt changed. Her eyes sparkled with a light that seemed to defy the shadows, and a smile lingered on her lips, a testament to resilience amidst the struggles she had faced. She expressed her desire for me to meet that man, to formally welcome him into our family circle. The moment our paths crossed, I was taken aback by the presence of my future stepfather, David. He was a tall man, his appearance betraying the years he had lived, seeming much younger than the age he carried within him. He was just a handful of years ahead of me. From afar, he appeared just like any other man, and yet no one could fathom the truth of his connection to my mother. Yet there are moments when I find myself blurring the lines, seeing him as my brother or a dear friend. His smile held a certain charm, and his deep blue eyes seemed to draw people in, evoking a sense of sympathy almost instinctively. Yet it was that very youth and elegance that left me in a state of bewilderment. It was difficult for me to comprehend the reasons behind David's choice of my mother. A woman in her 40s, even in her enduring beauty, there was a depth that spoke of untold stories and silent struggles. Initially, I made an effort to appear at ease, not wanting to add any burden to my mother's worries. Yet, as the days unfolded, an unsettling awareness began to settle within me, a quiet recognition that something was amiss. There were countless moments when I turned to my mother, seeking answers that felt just out of reach. Mom, what led him to choose you as his partner? Could he really be that young? Is it possible that there lies a deeper intention behind his actions? Each time I reached out, her response was silence, followed by reprimand. There was a weight to her demeanor, a gravity that spoke volumes. Her voice carried a resolute strength. Emily, please reconsider your words. That is a profound connection. Through all that has transpired, David's love for Mom remains steadfast, rooted in the essence of who she is, untouched by external circumstances. I wanted to trust my mother, yet uncertainty lingered within me. David's demeanor had shifted entirely. He consistently showed a level of politeness and attentiveness towards my mother that seemed almost deliberate. He took on the responsibilities of cooking and cleaning, lending a hand to my mother with the household chores. It was a quality I had yet to encounter in any other man, yet each time he gazed at me, I sensed an unsettling depth in his eyes. Those eyes held a complexity that transcended the simple gaze of an uncle upon his stepdaughter, embodying an unspoken depth that is challenging to articulate. I reassured myself that perhaps I was overthinking things and that it was time to allow him the opportunity to prove his value. My mother and David entered into marriage after just a few months of knowing each other, swiftly becoming a recognized part of our family dynamic. Yet, I found it impossible to overlook how his presence in this country house in Tuscany had transformed everything. Family meals have transformed into something unrecognizable. There exists an undeniable tension that lingers in the air whenever we are together, a disquieting ambiance that eludes my ability to define, yet I find myself holding back, fully aware of the joy it brings my mother. In David, she finds a steadfast anchor, a beacon of joy and solace that pierces through the shadows of her past solitude. I found myself grappling with a profound sense of conflict. The thought of causing my mother pain weighed heavily on my heart, yet an unsettling curiosity lingered within me. I couldn't shake the feeling that beneath his seemingly perfect smile, there might be hidden truths about his love for her that remained undisclosed, waiting for me to uncover them. Over time, I slowly began to accept David as a part of our family. In the beginning, he seemed shy and a bit awkward, yet there was an undeniable light he brought into my mother's life, a warmth that filled the spaces where shadows once lingered. He frequently assisted her with the household tasks, prepared meals, and consistently maintained a thoughtful and respectful demeanor. As time passed, a sense of stability began to emerge, and I found myself contemplating the possibility that my early uncertainties were merely products of my own mind. One night, after a long and exhausting day at the university, I found myself seeking solace in the bathroom, a small refuge where I could momentarily escape the weight of the world. In the midst of a chaotic routine, I found myself hanging my underwear in the bathroom, a small act of practicality amidst the disarray. I intended to gather it all together with the rest of my clothes the following morning, a simple plan to restore some order to my life. Emerging from the warmth of the shower, I enveloped myself in a towel, stepping into the world beyond the bathroom in search of clothes to don, a small act of normalcy amidst the echoes of my thoughts. Yet, when I came back to search for it, my underwear was nowhere to be found. I paused, reflecting on the possibility that I might have misplaced it along the way. I searched the bathroom, carefully opening each cabinet door and kneeling to peer beneath the sink, yet initially it seemed to elude me completely. I found myself wondering if I had perhaps left it behind in the bedroom, lost amidst the echoes of my past. I went back to my room, sifting through the heap of dirty clothes and rummaging in the drawers, yet it eluded me still. A peculiar sensation stirred within me, leaving me in a state of bewilderment. The pants had been there, a familiar presence before I stepped into the shower, but now they had vanished, leaving behind an unsettling emptiness. Once I had changed, I stepped into the living room where my mother and David were absorbed in the flickering images on the television screen. They appeared to be just like anyone else, at ease in their surroundings. Mom found herself laughing wholeheartedly at a scene on the screen, a moment of lightness amidst the weight of everything else. For a brief moment, I found myself caught in a stillness before finally finding the words to express what lay heavy on my heart. Mom, David, someone just went to the bathroom. I just finished showering, yet there's an emptiness that lingers, a sense that something essential has slipped away. Both of them turned to me, their expressions a mix of surprise and curiosity. Mom inquired, "What have you lost?" There was a moment of pause within me. I chose to keep my response vague, simply providing an answer without delving into details. Indeed, it is a deeply personal piece. A personal item I had left in the bathroom seemed to be missing, leaving me with a sense of loss and confusion. David offered a faint smile, his head nodding gently in acknowledgement. No one dared to step away. Perhaps it has slipped your mind. Seek to recall. Have you ever found yourself wondering if it was left behind, somewhere distant and forgotten? David and I found ourselves sitting here, lost in the weight of our shared moments. No one ventured to the bathroom. I remained silent, holding back any further words. I found myself sitting down, retreating to the solitude of my room. In the depths of my heart, I held onto the hope that perhaps I had simply misplaced it, a fleeting memory lost in the shadows of my mind. Yet, that unsettling sensation lingered. Despite my attempts to dismiss it as insignificant, a part of me found it impossible not to question whether I had truly left it behind. What became of my underwear, I wonder? Since that day, an inexplicable sensation has lingered in my mind, one that I cannot fully articulate or trace back to its origin. It feels as though an unseen presence is observing my every move, a constant reminder of what has transpired. Initially, I sought to soothe myself, convincing myself that my heightened sensitivity was merely a response to the unsettling incident involving my missing underwear. Yet that unsettling feeling lingered, refusing to dissipate. In contrast, it gradually revealed itself with undeniable clarity. There was something profoundly unsettling about the experience of showering. The bathroom door, with its smooth glazed surface, stood as a barrier, a translucent reminder of the moments that lay beyond it. From the outside, I could only catch a glimpse of the form within, the details remaining shrouded in obscurity. Initially, from within, I could still make out a faint outline of someone standing outside. In moments of solitude, particularly during the ritual of showering, I began to sense an elusive presence. It was subtle, almost imperceptible, a fleeting shadow that lingered just beyond the threshold of the bathroom door. For a few seconds, it would stand there, a vague silhouette, before vanishing into the ether, leaving me with an unsettling awareness of its absence. It was one night when the truth began to unfold before me. As I stepped into the bathroom, seeking solace in the warmth of the hot water, a sudden chill gripped me. In that fleeting moment, my gaze fell upon a dark figure looming just beyond the glass door. In that moment, I felt as if the very air had been stolen from my lungs. My heart raced with an intensity that felt almost overwhelming. Who could it be? I called softly into the silence, yet no response came back to me. I stepped closer to the glass door, straining to catch a glimpse, but the figure had vanished into thin air. As I turned the handle and stepped into the hallway, a profound stillness enveloped me. The corridor beyond the bathroom lay silent and deserted. In that moment, solitude enveloped me, the only presence a dim glow emanating from the living room. I lingered in that stillness for a few moments, straining to catch any sound, yet the silence enveloped me in an unsettling embrace. I tried to convince myself that perhaps I was imagining it or that it was merely a play of light dancing before my eyes, yet the sense of insecurity lingered, extending its reach beyond the confines of the bathroom. In the days that followed, an unsettling sensation of being watched permeated the house, casting a shadow over my sense of safety within those walls. As I made my way down the corridor, an unsettling sensation washed over me, a whisper of awareness that someone might be observing me from the shadows. At times, I found myself glancing back, yet the vacant corridor met my gaze with nothing but a chilling stillness. As I settled into the living room, an unsettling awareness enveloped me, a sense that an unseen presence lingered, quietly scrutinizing every gesture I made. At times, as I moved through the kitchen or lingered by the window, a fleeting shadow would catch my eye, stirring a tremor deep within me. Yet when I ventured to see, an eerie stillness enveloped the space, as though the world had paused, erasing all traces of what had transpired. Throughout the day, I found myself grappling with the notion that perhaps it was all a figment of my imagination, a product of my own anxious mind. It's possible that the light filtering in from outside or the shapes of the objects around me conjured illusions that triggered a deep sense of panic within me. Yet as night fell and the house settled into a profound silence, enveloped by the weight of darkness, that feeling intensified, wrapping around me like a familiar shroud. There was a constant awareness that each step I took echoed not just within me, but also in the space of someone else, intertwining our experiences in ways I could hardly comprehend. A sense of unease settled within me, even in the supposed safety of my own room. In the stillness of the night, as I found myself lost in the pages of a book or drifting toward sleep, a faint sound reached my ears. It was the soft echo of footsteps, hesitant and lingering, as if someone had paused just outside my door. I stepped out to look around several times, but the corridor remained silent, the doors of the other rooms firmly shut. Each time I returned to bed, I found myself grappling with the unsettling emotions that lingered within me. I chose not to share this with my mother, aware that her response would likely be one of disapproval for my sensitivity. She would often remark, less than, you're overthinking it, greater than. David maintained his usual calm and serene demeanor, concealing any signs of turmoil beneath the surface. Yet it was his calmness that deepened my sense of unease, a chill so profound that it rendered me unable to comprehend its essence. As time passed, the unease in my heart lingered, refusing to fade away. In contrast, it gradually revealed itself with increasing clarity. It was as if the past had come rushing back, a familiar cycle re-emerging when my underwear vanished from the bathroom once more. That night unfolded much like the ones before it. After finishing my shower, I dressed and stepped outside, the dampness of my hair a reminder of the routine I clung to. As I stood before the mirror in the living room, the soft fabric of the towel glided through my damp hair, each stroke a gentle reminder of the solace that enveloped me after a long, arduous day. As I prepared to return to the bathroom to brush my teeth, the door swung open unexpectedly, revealing David stepping out from within. He appeared polished, his attire carefully chosen, and in his hand he clutched a towel, a small yet significant detail that hinted at a deeper story beneath the surface. "Please fetch a towel for your mother," he said, his smile warm and reassuring as it always was. I found myself seated, immersed in my tasks, my mind a quiet void, untouched by the chaos that often swirled around me. Yet, as I stepped back into the bathroom, an unsettling feeling washed over me, signaling that something was amiss. The underwear I had carelessly left on the hanger was gone, as if it had vanished into thin air, leaving behind a lingering sense of confusion and loss. I combed through the entire bathroom, examining the basket in every shadowy corner, yet it had vanished without a trace. A peculiar sensation surged within me, more intense than ever before. As I sifted through my memories, a vivid image emerged. David stepping out of the bathroom, a moment etched in my mind. What was he doing there? In that moment, in that place? Could his appearance be connected to this experience? Initially, I sought to find a sense of calm within myself. I believed he was merely stepping out to fetch something for his mother, as he had mentioned, yet this unexpected alignment compelled me to confront the questions that lingered within me. I took my time before speaking, allowing the weight of silence to settle around me. I held my doubts close, tucked away in the depths of my heart. From that moment on, I found myself fixated on every action of David. His growing ease only heightened my awareness, leaving me more alert than I had ever been. In the wake of my underwear's mysterious disappearance, I found myself increasingly drawn to David, observing him with a newfound intensity. Every gesture, every glance, every action of his was a silent study for me. Yet there was an unsettling awareness in him, as if he sensed my watchful gaze upon him. Each time he showed up, there was an unsettling calmness about him, a facade of appropriate behavior that felt almost rehearsed. The calm demeanor that surrounded me, rather than bringing solace, only deepened my confusion. Am I overanalyzing, or is there truly something he's concealing? Life continued in its usual rhythm until one day, the layers began to peel away and the truth emerged. It was a Saturday, a day that held its own weight in memories. On that day, while I found myself at home, my mother and David carried on with their routines, heading off to work as usual. The morning unfolded in its familiar rhythm. David rose with the dawn, sharing the quiet morning with my mother as they prepared breakfast together. Their smiles a gentle reminder of resilience and warmth in the face of life's challenges. Once my mother had hurriedly finished her meal, she stepped out of the house, determined to reach her workplace on time. David trailed behind her, a step away from the shadows of his own thoughts. Before he departed, he paused and gently urged me to remain at home and take the time to rest. If you find yourself in need, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I pressed my lips into a semblance of a smile, yet beneath that facade, a deep, unshakable anxiety churned within me, a feeling I struggled to articulate. After finishing breakfast, I took a moment to clear the dining table, then began tidying up the living room, each task a small step towards reclaiming my space. The stillness enveloped me, each footfall resonating in the silence, a reminder of my presence in that vast emptiness. Outside, the sunlight filtered through the window, casting a warm glow in a room that felt familiar, yet today evoked an unsettling sense of disquiet within me. As I leaned down to gather a few items for organization, an unexpected grip tightened around my waist, pulling me back into a moment I hadn't anticipated. I held my breath, a weight pressing against my chest. In that moment, a wave of surprise and fear washed over me, leaving me paralyzed, unable to respond. Emily, your beauty radiates in ways that are profound and deeply felt. A soft voice whispered close to my ear. It was the familiar sound of David's voice, echoing through the memories that lingered in the corners of my mind. In that moment, time seemed to freeze, and my heart felt as though it had ceased its rhythm entirely. I struggled against the grip, but his hand remained unyielding. I firmly told him to step back, but he didn't respect my words. There was a pause before he replied. He let out a quiet, almost bitter laugh, the sound escaping through clenched teeth. His breath lingered near my neck, intensifying the sense of panic that already gripped me. I found myself in a situation where I felt powerless, as if my actions held no weight. I simply longed for a moment of play. David's voice was a mere whisper, yet his grip around my waist remained unyielding, a silent promise that he had no intention of releasing me. His voice carried a certain calmness, yet intertwined with a chilling sense of dread. I asked him to step away, but he ignored my request, making the situation feel unsafe, sent waves of panic coursing through me. I struggled more fiercely, yet his embrace tightened around me, as if he were intentionally challenging my will to break free. What is it that you are engaged in at this moment? Release me! A shiver ran through me. My voice became trapped within me. David reacted without hesitation. He stood far too close, invading my personal space in a way that felt wrong, igniting a shiver that coursed through me. There's a palpable tension in the air, Emily. I was merely joking. He spoke, yet there was a weight in his tone that belied any sense of playfulness. It felt as though he was attempting to soothe my turmoil, yet somehow it fell short of truly calming me. I asked you to please stop, I cried out, my voice shaking with a mix of anger and fear. I attempted to pull his hands away, yet David held on tightly, unwilling to release me. Instead, he tightened his grip, leaving me with the suffocating sensation of being ensnared in a situation from which there was no escape. His eyes held a depth so profound that they unsettled me to my core. He spoke words that felt inappropriate and made me increasingly uncomfortable, one I was reluctant to acknowledge. I stood still, overwhelmed by the sensation that the world around me was disintegrating. His actions crossed a line I never thought would be tested, the fragile barriers I had built around myself. From the moment our eyes met, I felt a connection that was both profound and unsettling, he said, his voice low and rough. Yet each word resonated deeply within me, leaving an indelible mark on my very being. Yet I held back, gripped by the fear that your mother might discover the truth. I waited, holding on to the passage of time until today arrived. I found myself in a state of disbelief, grappling with the weight of the words that had just reached my ears. What is it that you are trying to convey, David? My voice quavered, teetering on the edge of breaking, yet I fought to maintain my composure. How could that thought even cross your mind? How could you inflict such pain on my mother? He paused before responding, his gaze lingering on me as if he sensed the turmoil within. Yet in that moment, a spark of resolve ignited in his eyes. It's not your mother who holds my heart. It's you, the one I've always longed for. Words hit me with a force that felt almost unbearable, leaving me reeling. It was unfathomable to me that David, a man my mother held in such high regard and trusted deeply, could utter such dreadful words in this moment. Just once, Emily, his voice lingered, caught between a desperate plea and unwavering resolve. Please, just give me some space this time. I promise I won't cause any harm to your mother. This is something we hold close, a bond forged in silence. I struggled against the tide of my emotions, grappling with the anger that surged within me. How could he be so thoughtless, so utterly lost in his own world? Yet the intensity of his strength and the ferocity of his actions left me feeling trapped, with no way to break free. I asked him to step away, but he ignored my request, making the situation feel unsafe, his breath brushing against my ear, a sensation that brought forth a wave of suffering and suffocation, as if the world around us had faded into a blur. In that moment, I found myself grappling with the incomprehensible reality of her surrender, as if she had reached the limits of her endurance. A stark contrast to the illusion of control she once held. David's words lingered in the air. His stare made me feel exposed and increasingly anxious, and even the brush of his hand felt like a boundary that had been irrevocably breached. Throughout that day, David and I found ourselves entwined in a turmoil that eluded my ability to articulate. In that moment, my emotions swirled together in a chaotic blend of disaster, guilt, fear, and confusion. I found it hard to accept that I had allowed things to spiral beyond control, that an event so unimaginable had taken place. Each minute slipped away in a blur, while every second felt like an eternity. I found myself reflecting on the journey that led me to this moment. Upon her return home at night, my mother appeared taken aback to find David there, a moment that lingered in the air, heavy with unspoken emotions. He often returned home later than anticipated due to work, but today felt distinct, as if the weight of time had shifted in an unexpected way. My mother set her purse aside, her gaze fixed on David, a silent inquiry lingering in her eyes. Today, you returned home earlier than usual. I've noticed that you often arrive home after I do, David. David, as ever, exuded a quiet strength and tranquility. He smiled gently, moving towards my mother with a sense of purpose. As he reached for her purse, he softly said, I finished early today, hoping it would bring you joy to go home and share dinner together. It seems that you have been experiencing a lot of difficulty lately. Her words, imbued with kindness and reason, sent a shiver through me, stirring emotions I thought I had long buried. She appeared to embody a sense of liberation, untouched by the turmoil or remorse that lingered in the aftermath of what had just transpired. My mother offered a soft smile, choosing silence over inquiry. She moved to the kitchen, beginning the familiar ritual of preparing dinner, her mind untouched by the subtle undercurrents of something amiss. Yet I found myself standing apart. Every action I took, every emotion I felt, appeared to have transformed in ways I could hardly comprehend. My perception of David had shifted, and the familiarity I once felt was now tinged with a distance that I could no longer ignore. My eyes brimmed with a tumult of hate and resentment, yet there was an inexplicable barrier that held me back. The weight of shame and guilt quietly settles in my heart, an unwelcome presence that I cannot ignore. Since that day, even though the connection between David and me had come to a halt, I understood that our relationship could never return to its former state. Each day within the confines of our shared space, I found myself enveloped by an unrelenting sense of fear and guilt, as if trapped in an unending nightmare. During family meals, I sensed that David's gaze lingered longer than it typically did. The look had transformed, no longer embodying the warmth of a husband for his stepdaughter. Instead, it carried an unsettling weight that sent a chill through me. My mother, who had always placed her trust in me and held a deep affection for David, remained oblivious to the undercurrents that swirled around us. Each time I walked past her, I averted my gaze, yet deep within me lingered an unshakable fear that I couldn't seem to dispel. Each time my mother smiled, her eyes radiated joy, and in those moments, I felt an even deeper sense of betrayal within myself. I longed to speak, to unveil the weight of my suffering to my mother, yet I found myself lacking the strength to do so. I found myself trapped in a prison of my own making, where the walls were constructed from relentless, tormenting thoughts that echoed endlessly in my mind. It became unbearable, and in that moment of clarity, I knew I had to walk away. I shared with my mother my desire to move away, expressing that I was now an adult and needed to embrace the journey of independence. Initially, my mother was taken aback, grappling with a reality she struggled to embrace. She struggled to grasp the reasons behind my abrupt choice, especially since my desire to be near her had always been so strong. She urged me to stay, to find solace in the safety of our shared space. "It's okay," she reassured. "I don't want you to face the world alone. It's too perilous out there." Her voice was laced with concern, yet I stood my ground. I expressed my belief that I was ready to take care of myself, that this journey was essential for my growth and understanding of life. My mother finally came to a decision, yet her mind remained clouded with lingering uncertainties. That was the third reason I chose to leave, a truth I felt compelled to keep hidden from her. As I stepped away from that house, a sense of relief eluded me, leaving behind a weight I hadn't anticipated. The ache lingered deep within me, yet the space between us offered a reprieve from David's gaze and the haunting memories I yearned to leave behind. I understood that this was not merely a step towards freedom. It was my sole path to rescue myself from the weight of oppression and the pain that felt insurmountable. Each person's journey is marked by unforeseen events and moments of profound challenge. There are moments in life that catch us off guard, challenging our very essence. Yet it is through the process of navigating these trials that we discover our true selves. History serves as a poignant reminder of the struggle to confront guilt born from vulnerability and the instinct to shield oneself from harm. It is crucial to find your voice in moments of peril, to speak out when those meant to safeguard you become the source of your pain. Silence can be a heavy burden, and sharing your truth is a powerful step toward healing. In moments of turmoil, silence may offer a fleeting refuge, yet it can also morph into a confining cell. ensnaring you in a cycle of suffering and solitude. Reach out for support, whether it be from family, friends, or organizations that understand your journey. In moments of deep reflection, it becomes clear that embracing the truth can serve as a powerful catalyst for liberation, paving the way for a new chapter in life. Moreover, pay attention to your emotions. In moments when the familiar surroundings no longer offer solace, when the very essence of comfort feels stripped away, it becomes imperative to confront the reality of change. Leaving is not merely an escape, it serves as a means of self-protection. I urge parents to remain attuned to their children's emotions and actions, for these are the silent cries that often go unheard. At times, subtle shifts in demeanor and vague expressions may hint at underlying issues that remain unrecognized by them. In moments of vulnerability, the presence of care and understanding can create a sanctuary for children, shielding them from the depths of pain they may be too afraid to confront. Embrace your courage and resilience, for you are worthy of a life filled with peace and joy. This chapter of my journey concludes here. I appreciate each of you for being here and for your willingness to listen. If this resonated with you, I invite you to show your support by liking the video and subscribing for more reflections. Turn on the notification bell to ensure you stay connected with our upcoming stories. Farewell.